Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo First here at Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, here in Yerushalyim, HaKodesh, not too far from the central bus station, located on Rehov Zikr Yaakov number 6 in the Beit Knesset of Tanakh Yeshivas. Our first year now is Pirkei Avos. We are learning about the statement of Yehoshua ben Prachya, Oimer Oisef lo Rav, you should make yourself a Rav, number one. Secondly, Koyet there, you should acquire for yourself a Chaver, a friend. And finally, I've done for as called a Machapskus. You should give everyone for the benefit of the doubt. We'll be discussing that most likely later next week. Now, just to finish up for this week, I think we're going to, on the second page of our original sheet, right? Not the one we did yesterday with the Shar Yosha. We basically finished the Shar Yosha. Thank you, Dr. Right? Remember the Shar Yosha, I wanted to bring that down with Shimon Shkaf in his explanation of the Gemara in Baba Kama, that we had the situation of Rav Chizda had a question to Rami Bar Chama, and Rami Bar Chama, before he answered the question, wanted Rav Chizda to serve him in some respectful way, but serving him nonetheless, in order that he should verify that Rav Chizda wanted to learn from him as a Talmud learns from a Rav. And the point of Rav Shimon Shkaf is that the Talmud, when he's learning from a Rav, he'll put forth the efforts to try and understand the Rav's words, which will be necessary to have a clear understanding of the truth of what's being said. That's very important when you're trying to learn. So the Rav is that desire and knowledge that the Rav's words are worth putting your effort and time into, and with that you come to the ends. Okay, now back to the original sheet. We have the Drashas Haran. That's the main body of the second sheet on the second page. Drashas Haran. After that, the beginning. Sure.
As if you knew, or Rabbeinu, we've been advised by our teachers. Is it on the bracha?
That's Chazmini Chazal, right? We're saying Chazal. That's usually Chazal through the Gemara or the Medrash. Tanoim, basically Tanoim or Amorim.
Al Tashtalut, making effort?
Yeah, Hishtadlus. This is Hishtadlus. Yeah.
Hishtadlut. Kanit Chavera Amra Avos. Concerning the matter of acquiring a friend, Behu Sha'amar Shlomo?
Shlomo HaMelech.
You oftentimes, most of my reading difficulties will be solved if I just read one or two extra words.
Actually, tell you the truth. That's one of the methods that people are taught to. Try and read in phrases rather than one word at a time. Read in phrases. When you run out of steam, when you get lost, you can't follow the train of thought. Stop and retrace. Right? So that's what's actually a very good opportunity to try and institute over here. You can read until you feel you have a complete thought, and then go back and translate that.
Yeah.
If you run a little bit short, a little bit long, but sometimes it's a little bit more. At the beginning, when you just go one word after the next, that's also important at the very beginning stages. But once you get to the more intermediate stages, it's very worthwhile that you just try and use phraseology, and you'll find, I think, a big improvement in the way you're reading.
Right. Okay. We'll share more from Allah Shalom. In Kohelet, Tovim Hashanim Min HaEchad. So the good years are from one.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Tovim Hashanim. It's better two. Not years. It's the same letters as Shanim. You could read it Shanim. It's better years, but it's really two.
Right. Okay.
Tovim Hashnayim.
Two is better than one.
Yeah. Two is better than one.
Okay.
Drashas Haran, middle of the page.
Of course, my reading made no sense, but this makes sense. So if we read it as Shanim and not Shanim, then that makes sense.
You have the spot there, Matisyahu? Second page in the main part of the...
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Two is better than one. Ki im ipulu, because if they fall, we're going there. I guess that's the next question.
That's part of this. We don't have this really. We don't have it enough here. It's something worth seeing. Okay, but it's basically because it says because it's better two than one because if one will fall, the other one will come to his aid. Meaning they'll support each other, right?
Okay.
And also, but the pasuk kedinja v'gam im
Yishkavu, Gomer, Ratzav Hazeh, Ki...
This is the explanation now. Ratzav Hazeh, meaning the intention behind this is...
Ratzav Hazeh, the intention behind this, Ki Shutafot, the partners, V'Hacharara, and the friend, the bear, Mo'il, Hein Ishtadel, Adam, but I'm not sure if it's me.
Alright, so I tell you, go back. Ratzav Hazeh, Ki, go again. Now read it again in Hebrew.
Okay. Ashutafut, the partners, the Chavara, and the friend, the bear, Mo'il.
This is double, meaning it's a thing.
Oh, Devar. Okay, I was reading it as to speak. Okay.
Good. Okay, that's the thing. When you don't have the Nakudot, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Okay, that's a shame.
Okay, so a partner and a friend is a thing. Mo'il Hein, above, related, superior to.
It's beneficial.
Beneficial. Mo'il. It's beneficial. Hein sheyishadel. That someone should make an effort in I'm not sure.
The To'elis Chaveru, the Shutfis and the Chavura, I mean the partnership and the friendship, it's something which is beneficial. That the person will put forth efforts, one person for the benefit of his friend. I mean, when you're working with a partner or with even a group, right? So if they're working together, if they're on the same team, everyone talks about team. You're on a team. What's the point about a team? Team is you can't accomplish the same thing by yourself. You need other people to help you, right? So if you make up a team and you join forces. So we can accomplish a lot more. That could be even completely impossible, right? I remember about 2 weeks ago we were talking about the pit stops, right? The pit stops, a team of 27. It's a team, the big races, the Indy 500, and the Daytona. So they have pits. You can't just keep driving. You got to get the new gas up. You got to get more. You got to change your tires. Every few hundred miles and going to that speed. And not only that. If you have less fuel in your tank, a smaller tank, you can move faster because your car is lighter, right? So what they try and do, the strategy is to reduce the time of the pit stops. The world's record for a pit stop is about 1.9 seconds. What they do in 1.9 seconds, you can't even see it with the human eye. They have to slow. What? Because you get 27 guys doing everything all at the same time, right? One person couldn't do it in an hour. Couldn't change it, although gas it up, change 4 tires and whatever. One person couldn't do it in an hour. The race is over in an hour. Right?
And where did you become such a puppy in the Indianapolis 500?
Growing up in America, what can I tell you?
I grew up in America and I'm not a bucky then.
Well, I'm not a bucky either. I just had to do some research for pitch stops because it came up. When you're talking about teamwork, that's one of the most amazing forms of teamwork that I've ever come across.
I never heard of it.
27 people doing something within less than 2 seconds, right? And they have 4 tires, and you have at least 3 people on each tire. One's to rivet it off, and one's to take it off, right? One's to put it back on, And we'll serve it. So you have 4 people on each tire. That's 4 times 4. So you got 16 right there, right? So that's the majority of your team. But like they all have to be geared and trained, and they have to have a common cause and a common goal. And so that's what we've been taught over here. When people are working for a common goal and they're working to help the other person, right? So things can become accomplished. We can accomplish things.
A serious question. Was these 27 Eden?
Depends what race.
I don't think that
If
27 Eden could work together so far. That's my thought.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
Maybe it's like an hour. Just drag it on the record.
Take for example the Kohanim in the base of English. They were working. They had the Talmud. I forgot how many in the procession of the Talmud. I think there were 7 to 100.
Yeah, but they were all wanting to do the Avodah, and they got into trouble. So it shows that I'm just extending that the Kohanim at a certain stage cannot cooperate.
No, because that was a race to have for the person who wins the race. That's me and nobody else. That was what they call tacharut. That was competition, right? Competition is something completely different than what we're talking about. That Chazal, they realized after time, there was a point in time when it was beneficial that there was competition, that they have a race, and whoever won the race, that Kohen would do the avodah for that particular race. But at one point, the competition overshadowed the goal. The goal was to serve Hashem. Right? So much so that it came to a point that one time a Kohen fell or pushed or whatever and hurt his leg, and another one, then when they put a stop to it, because one took out a knife and actually killed another Kohen. The other Kohen was overtaking him, and rather than lose the race, he took the knife out and killed him.
Very violent.
Yeah, a terrible thing. I mean, you have to think, after that, excuse me?
This is the Talmud's first person.
This was, I believe, the second basement. I have to check. I didn't do the proper key into the whole Maisa works.
Are we saying
competition?
this loveless enthusiasm taken to the extreme could have negative feelings?
Yeah.
So everything has to be in balance.
Yeah, the Rambam used the Shvil Azav, the middle road. Not to be too extreme. Not to be too extreme. So that's the benefit of learning and doing anything with shutness and chavara, with partnership and friendship, right? Camaraderie. We used to call it, comrade. That's the very important thing. Like the Maharal Miprag asked the question. He says, why didn't HaKodesh Baruch Hu give the Torah to Adam Arishon? Why did he wait, right, to give the Torah to 600,000 men between 20 years old and 60 years of Har Sinai? Give it to Adam Arishon at the very beginning. We say the Tehillim on Shabbos, Kili Lekilo Chazdos. Right, so those are connected the generations that preceded the giving of the Torah. I think there were 27, if I'm not mistaken. 27. Well, he kept the Torah. That's a separate thing. But the Torah was not given except the Klal Yisrael, the Har Sinai. Right? Knowledge of Torah and what Torah was, and Avram Avinu could understand it through his clear, unbiased intelligence, seichel, and wisdom, so he could fulfill the Torah before it was given. But the Torah was actually given to a group, to Klal Yisrael. And the Maharal says, well, why didn't we just start off at the very beginning with Adam Rishon? So he says, basically, because the Torah, to fulfill the Torah, you need to have a community. You have to have a group. It's not possible. There's so many halachas which are dependent on group participation, right? That you need to have a group, and it wasn't possible to give it to one singular individual. Even as great as Adam Rishon was, it's not fine. Well, it's something which necessitates having a community, having a nation, an a people. And so it was only at the Har Sinai when it became an became a people. That was the time that HaKodesh Baruch Hu could give Klal Yisrael the Torah. Okay, let's continue.
Just to clarify, Toilet means benefits?
Yeah. See, if you look at the word moyil and toelas, you have there's a shorish there, right? The ayin the ayin lamed, right? It's also the same root of shorish as aliyah. Aliyah is
Right.
going up, right? Aliyah is something you want to go up. That's hopefully a beneficial aliyah, right? So that's the whole shorish. Yeah, something positive. So moyil is something which is beneficial, and to'elis is for the benefit of Aaron.
Oh, here.
Although Vishtadel, or if he does not,
I was once at my son's chasana, and so he married an Israeli family, right? So one of the his brother-in-laws, they were enjoying the chasana, and the son-in-law was going around with a bottle of schnapps, right? So they
What was this Sephardi family?
yeah.
It's not snaps, Iraq.
Well,
Only Ashkenaz. Okay, let's get us.
So he was going around and he went over and asked me if I wanted a cup, and he said, so I had a few already, Baruch Hashem. And so when he asked me if I wanted, I use the word, I told him it's moil, it helps, The next thing is Labor Day. That's the joy that you get from the liquor, the alcohol. That's right.
Be careful.
Of course you have to be careful.
Give away all the,
We just talk about extremes. You don't want to be extreme. You can't drink to extreme. Okay.
okay. Although Yishtadel, if he does not make an effort, achar, afterwards, hayot shitov, hachavara b'nehem, yafshar b'galti to'elet. Afterwards, he will be a partner, the friend. Between them will be impossible alone for this benefit.
Without dwellers, meaning that there's going to have you're going to have if you have a partnership with someone, you have a friendship with someone. So the point is that you're going to be working each for the benefit of the other person. Or if you're not going to put out efforts, right? Meaning if there's going to be no effort to be put out for the partnership and the friendship between them, then there's going to be no benefit and nothing. There'll be no outcome from what's the partnership. It won't produce. Because again, if you're trying to do something that's for the equal benefit of both, and it's impossible to accomplish singularly, each person on his own, each person's going to have to put forth his efforts to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. And then there'll be a benefit, and then there'll be a product, there'll be a goal reached. But if you're not going to put forth the efforts, you won't reach the goal.
Is a wedding, a marriage also a partnership?
Much more than partnership. Because a partnership you can dissolve, right?
Marriage is not so simple.
What?
Marriage is also dissolvable.
Well,
It has consequences.
Excuse me, what?
It has very severe consequences
Of what?
of dissolving marriage.
Yeah. It's even though that I'm in the middle of working on this safer now, right? And I'm speaking of Cynthia Scheinberg about it. So at the end of our conversations about this, he always says if you can stop one or two divorces, the whole safer's worth it. The whole safer, you can stop one or two divorces. He says there's so many divorces today, right? Because first of all, people simply haven't been educated. We remember we talked about chinuch education, then we talked about mahal protest, then we talked about rebuke, and then protest, right? So the first thing is chinuch. People aren't getting the proper chinuch. People they're entering into marriage. They haven't been educated properly. They don't know what to expect, right?
Look, I mean, sometimes
Who's supposed to educate them? Who's authorized?
Rebbeim.
Is the parents, is Yeshiva?
Look, it starts with the parents, starts with Rebbeim. Look, Shem Yirakim, they can have to come to a rabbi for a divorce, right? So the rabbi should educate them to keep their marriage together.
basically, maybe the rabbis try to educate them, but they just sometimes don't always work out.
Well, there's a Chuvas Rav Moshe, he said that they finally were giving it get. Rav Moshe writes there that they had tried all possible things, everything with all kinds of this and that, and finally, after years of trying to make it work, right, the only way was that they had to go their separate ways. But that was after tremendous, almost superhuman efforts to try and preserve the... Excuse me?
Always try it to the very last possible to say.
Look, I mentioned what I once heard from Mendel Weinbach, who was giving a vad to Bachram. And the Bachram that was beginning to start Shidduchim. So he said that sometimes you start a Shidduch and maybe yes, maybe no. Right? So he cautioned the Bachram, the boys, said, if you're in suffering, you don't be the one to break off the Shidduch. Don't you be the one if the woman wants to break off the Shidduch, let her be the one to say no and to Mavatl to break off the Shidduch. Why? Because the man has a mitzvah of Perivia. He has a mitzvah asay doraisa of Perivia. Right? Having a family, producing children. And so you have here this young woman might be the possibility of fulfilling this mitzvah. So the klal is suffik deraisa l'chumrah, right? Not saying you should go ahead and get married on a suffik, but the suffik deraisa l'chumrah, not to mevatel the shidduch, right? You have to be cautious. But the woman who doesn't have a mitzvah deraisa, right? So she says no. And she's not to be faulted by that. But there could be a person has doubts. So speak over the doubts with the rabbi, a das Torah, a friend. Speak over the doubts and go out another time or two until if you get the real feeling it's not for you, then it's just simply a waste of time, right? But if you're in doubt, it's in doubt. So you keep going, and if it gets better, it gets better. If it doesn't get better, you realize it. But if you're in doubt, to shave out the item. Not to make any move. Let the woman make the statement that she's not interested.
Is there any statistics of who breaks?
I have to talk to the shotgunning, probably they would have some statistics. But I'm not sure.
I think the Bachman are usually have more doubts.
You think so?
Yeah, because they go through life, they don't have to make any decisions. So their parents make decisions for them, they're Yeshivas, okay, and therefore to make a decision is something difficult. Yeah. Not just a guess.
Well, that's part of the, we'll say, Rabbi Gamaliel, we're not getting into it now, but Rabbi Yosef says, he always uses the same lashon, Asacha L'cha Rav, make for yourself a Rav, and Mistalek min a Safik. You have a Rav, and you have Sfekis. You take the Mistalek min a Safik.
Stay away from it.
You will remove the suffix. You have a Rav, make for yourself a Rav, and he'll help you decide. Sometimes it's not easy decisions. Yes, no.
There's some people who go through life never making a decision. I know people like that. And my attitude is after 120, they'll ask me, did you make decisions? I said, yes. So a lot of Vinyana. Are they all correct? No. But I made a lot of decisions, and the majority of them were correct. And some people are afraid of making a mistake. I respect that. And they will never make a decision. And that's the way they conduct their lives. I think you could be more productive. You could do more by making decisions after evaluating the facts, taking advice, etc. And you hope for the best.
Can I ask you to translate this one?
What?
Achar Hiyot Shituf Achar. So Hiyot is just like to be, right?
Right. Achir, since Lios Shituf Achavra B'neihem, Efshel Bilti Toels. That Achir, since that there's a Shituf between them, right? There's a Shituf Hafra, there's a Shituf of friendship between them, right? There's a partnership of friendship between them. There's a pact. Since there's a pact between them, right? It's impossible that there won't be. It's impossible, double negative. It's impossible building without us. It's impossible that there won't be a benefit. It's impossible not to have a benefit.
Very interesting. Okay. Toilet. Vahu amru gam yishkavu shnayim v'cham lahem. And they said this even about like lying down together. There'll be one.
Okay, yeah, right.
So yeah, that's a benefit too.
Right.
The Shuta Shal Pasuk and the simple reading of the Pasuk Ze Yira Zar Ne'od U'Devar Betel. This one will fear a foreigner, a Zar.
Okay. Shuto Shel Pasuk Ze. I mean, again, it says V'gam Yishkavu Shnehem Cham Lehem. Meaning, the pasuk says when they lie down together, right? When they lie down together, it'll be warm for them.
Right.
So the pasuk, in its simplicity, here it seems zarmo. It seems very strange. Yira seems zarmo. It seems very strange.
Okay. Right.
The double buckle, and it seems to be unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Okay. That's not unnecessary.
The Medrash in Esther, right, because Esther says that the Kodesh Baruch Hu made as a benefit to Esther to be picked to be the queen. It turned out that when Ahasuerus was first with her, it was during the winter time, right? So because I'll say because in the winter time the body gets more benefit from another person, right? And in the summertime it's not so it's sweats and whatever, but in the winter time there's more of a benefit. So it was a chesed for Esther that she had to really meet with Ahasuerus the first time when it was cold, right? But that's based on this pasuk, right? But the question is, it seems very strange that the Shlomo Melech is talking about that this is what that's what the benefit of two people being together is all about. It seems double buckle is unnecessary. What's going on here? Amna.
Oh, just one question. Also, this is also for Mishlei. Yishkavu Shnayim.
That's right. Yeah, we go here right there.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll try and take a look at the possibility.
Yeah. I'm going to get a Tanakh for this place.
I have one at home. We never have to do a small one. But it's good. It has all the questions there. It's a two-bar, very nice two-bar set. We don't have to do it.
Okay. And we better also keep my eyes open for a Hefker Tanakh.
Great.
Amram Hu Mara Al Davar Amiti V'Maskim La Mitziot.
However,
okay. It is taught or
yeah, it's teaching. How Amora, it's teaching.
and it is teaching regarding this matter. Amiti, my truth.
A truthful thing. It's teaching about a truthful thing.
Davar
amiti. Right? There's a good phrase to know. Davar amiti is a truthful thing.
Davar amiti, the maskim. Is that something that holds?
Maskim is like basically an agreement or something which is known. The Metzias. Metzias is according to the facts.
Yes, according to...
Well, agree, and so in masking limits and agrees to the facts, agrees to the reality.
What's the shorish of masking?
Masking haskama, the same word haskama, a person comes to haskama, that's an agreement. So masking is it agrees, it's a verb form. Masking, so the Tsama kof. Yeah, so what the shorsh is exactly, but it's saying that you're masking haskama.
I'll check it out later. The who, ki batchila amar ki to'elet hashnaim gadol me'od כשישתדל. כשישתדל. כל אחד להועיל לחברו. Since at the beginning he said, or the pasuk said, that there's a benefit for two people such a big thing.
No, Toelas Hashnaim Gadol מאוד, that the benefit for the two is great, very great. The benefit for the two people is very great.
When all of one, when one person tries to benefit his friend,
Oh yeah, right. Kishtadol kol echad le'oyel lechaveiro.
each person is trying
Right.
wants to benefit the other person.
Right, when each person puts forth efforts for the benefit of his friend.
Right.
Yeah.
The who umaro, and of this it is said, Asher yesh lehem tzachar tov, and there's a word for them alone. Amalem, in their toil, in their effort. Kim yipol ha'echad yikayem echad ha'rav. And if one person falls, then we'll burn him up.
Okay, good, we'll have to stop here and switch over to the Gemara.